Welcome back everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the second part of our Unit 2 assessment review on quadratic and square root. Please take a moment to review your rubric. Question number 1. Below are the steps to solve the equation square root of 2x minus 3 plus 4 equals 10. Arrange them in order and justify your answer using the table provided. A few boxes have been filled for you already. Below are steps to solve the equation square root of 2x minus 3 plus 4 equals 10. Arrange them in order and justify your answer using the table provided. A few boxes have been filled for you already. So let's take a look at this first row. So this is the original equation. So you're going to remove the plus 4 on both sides, meaning you will do the inverse operation of minus 4. And that is this one. Justification of the next step. So when you do a negative 4 on both sides, this will now cancel out and this will be the result. So you will just have square root of 2x minus 3 equals 6. And your justification for the next step is you need to get rid of the square root symbol. So we need to do the inverse, which is to square both sides. When you square both sides, the radical sign gets removed and the 6 turns to 36. So that is the description. You're squaring both sides. The justification for the next step is that you need to isolate the 2x, so we need to do the inverse operation, which is plus 3 on both sides. When you add 3 on both sides, this negative 3 will be removed, and so this will be the result. 36 plus 3 is 39. So that is adding on both sides. The justification for the next step is that we need to isolate the x, so we will do the inverse operation of 2 times x, which in this case is divide. So we will divide by 2 both sides. Once you divide 2 both sides, this will be x equals 39 over 2, and we have found the answer, which is 39 over 2. But here, I want to also show you how to check it. So take the original equation, express the x as a parenthesis and plug in 39 over 2 in it. So 2 over 2 turns to 1, so that will just be 39 minus 3 plus 4 equals 10. So now you're going to operate on 39 minus 3, which will be a 36, and 30 square root of 36 is going to be a 6, and that will be 6 plus 4, which is check. So that is 10 equals 10. Let's now go to question number 2. Explain why square root of 3x plus 2 plus 7 equals 5 has no real solution. So let's take a look at this. So solving it, it will become, so you are going to subtract 7 on both sides. So subtracting 7 will just result to this. And so 5 minus 7 will become a negative 2. The moment you have a radical here and an equal to a negative number, that is going to give you no real solution because the square root symbol signifies that it is a positive root. So the fact that this is a square root symbol and this is negative, that tells you that you have no real solution. Number 3. Alex and Joy are trying to solve the equation x squared minus 10x plus 34 equals 0. They know that the solutions to I squared equals negative 1 are I and negative I. But they do not know how to use this information to solve for x in their equation. So here is Alex's work. Okay, so it became this, and it became that, and now he's here. Show how Alex can finish his work using complex numbers. So let's go ahead and do that. So to isolate, what you want to do is to isolate this expression right here by removing the square 2. So we can do that by square rooting. So you're going to get the square root of both sides. So now this will just be x minus 5, and on the other side is going to be plus or minus square root of negative 9. Now you know the square root of negative 9 can be broken into 2 parts, which is square root of positive 9 times square root of negative 1. And we already know that the square root of negative 1 is an I. So now this is a little bit easy to operate now. The square root of 9 is a 3. The square root of negative 1 is an I. So now your answer up to this point is x minus 5 equals plus or minus 3i. Now you know that you have to put the 5 to the other side, so you're adding 5 on both sides. Okay? Now your final answer is going to be x equals 5 plus or minus 3i. Let us now take a look at Joy's answer. So Joy decides to solve the equation using the quadratic formula. Here's her work. So let me sing the quadratic formula for you first, because that really helps me. So I will sing the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. After you sing it and after you put the quadratic formula, the next strategy that I told you is to copy everything down, but make sure that you put parentheses in place of your variable, and then you plug. Okay? That strategy will somehow eliminate the confusion of whether there's a negative number that you will put or no negative. Okay? Now you're up to here. And so Joy knows that 100 minus 136 is a negative number, and isn't sure what to do next. So show Joy how to write her solution using I. Okay, let's take a look at this. So that will be copied down. So that's a 10 plus or minus. You will operate on the 100 minus 136, which is going to give you a negative 36 inside the radical, and you copy down over 2. So now once again, this can be separated into positive 36 times negative 1, and the negative 1, the square root of negative 1 is an I, and the square root of 36 is 6. So now you will just copy this down and you will put 10 plus or minus 6i over 2. And then now you will have, okay, notice the 10 and 6 and 2 have a common factor of 2. So I want to factor out the 2 in the 10 and factor out the 2 in the 6i in order for me to better simplify this. So now if I factor out the 2 from 10, this will result to 2 outside the parentheses, and the 10 turns to 5. Plus or minus, the 6i turns to 3i. The way to check if you had done it correctly is to go back. So 2 times 5 is a 10. 2 times 3i is a 6i. So we did the right thing. After doing that, notice that now your factor on top is a 2 and there is a denominator of 2. So you can actually cross that out and make it a 1. And so now your final answer is just 5 plus 3i, which is the same as Alex's work. So I hope you learned a lot today, guys. Good luck on your part 2 of the assessment 2 for Algebra 2.